Yeah, we designated spitters live every week. Live, designated homie, cause we spit heat. We designated spitters, Francis and Pete. Yes, talking Yankee baseball, hip-hop for the streets. Yup, we designated, yup, we innovative. Yup, we designated spitters, time that you know. Yup, we designated, yup, we innovative. Yup, we designated spitters, let's start the show.
Find me a better intro than that. I'll give you time.
You won't.
I love it, man. I love it.
I'm gonna save you guys time. You're not gonna find a better intro than that.
You're not gonna find a better intro than that, man. I tell you, like the whole like, oh my goodness, then the saxophone in the back. Stop it.
It's big, man. It's big. It feels big because this podcast is huge.
Huge over here. Unbelievable. Everybody, welcome back to episode. I know it's like up there. I don't know where the hell we are, but episode number 2 of NyynewsTV. That's how I'm going to keep it because it is the revamp. It is the new. We aren't the new squad here, but we are the designated spitters, and you know we got the news for you today.
That's the fact.
Fun show, Pat, today.
For sure, man. First things first. Thank you to the fans. Y'all showed up and showed out week 1 NyynewsTV.
Dude, man, great. When you said first things first, I was about to pop in with that I Papa freaks all the honeys, dummies, playboy bunnies, those wanting money. I don't know. That just popped in my mind immediately.
Like, we about to really be the designated spitters
100%. No, man, but we were talking about this for a minute. It has been an amazing first week for NyynewsTV.
Yes, sir.
Just everybody. Felix had a hilarious ass show.
Amazing.
I'm sitting there crying.
Not enough can be said, guys. I know I tweeted that out, but guys, not enough can be said of how good that is for a morning radio show. If you guys remember classic morning radio, what it used to be like with the jokes and the little like that. When I started listening to it, I was like, oh man. And it's not because Felix is with us here. Trust me. We keep it real, even with each other.
Yep.
Facts. But when I heard that, I was like, damn, man. Like, when somebody hits the mark that they were going for, you got to just applaud it. And I got to give Felix his flowers, man. That one hit the nail right on the head. I was like, this is what morning radio used to feel like before people really gave a shit. You know what I mean? And like people were like, trying to be too politically correct or whatever. Hilarious. Hilarious. Start to finish, man.
No doubt about it, man. The first time he sent me over, he was like, I'm going to add this on. What do you think? And it was the unicornios thing. That was it. I was like, no, you got it. That's a must. That's an absolute must. You got to keep that on there. So
unicornios, Adam King.
The Adam King thing was stupid,
I forgot the name. I forgot the name
Hubbard
of the guy.
Smith at the end. Hubbard Smith.
Is it Hubbard Smith? Oh,
and Peter Finicicci.
Peter Finicicci
at the end.
Finicici's the one with the tickets.
Look,
that was hilarious.
The cool thing that I respect about Felix, right, is that people kind of hear him talk about, well, maybe he's leaning one way, like if he's not talking politics, but he made fun of everybody.
Yeah, both sides.
Hubbard is a nutcase conservative.
Yeah,
like the stereotype psychotic right winger. That's what Hubbard Smith is. So it's hilarious to hear stuff like it's extremely comical. It was great. Twin Bill was amazing. These young guys, look, man. To them. These are two young fellas that came in and did their thing. They held their ground 100%. Terrific show.
Speaking of fellas, the fellas right after us came in, and wow, man, what a nice first show for them. Yeah, what a nice first show for them.
Of course, we had Chef Talk last night. That was Friday night, because this is again Sunday. This is Sunday. Friday night, terrific. But to get into things, we got something to start off with. Then we got an interview coming up. Do not miss it with Eli Fishman, very good friend of the show. Let me tell you guys right now. Eli's terrific. You guys know he's going to spit so much knowledge at you guys, so get ready for that. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay tuned. But the first thing I want to start off with is something I talked about already. This is really a story/non-story. Eric Chavez leaves the Yankees and goes to the Mets. Francis, what are your thoughts?
Listen, man, I know that this ran through Twitter this week and caused, I don't know what you want to call it. It caused a stir. I mean, there were some people who were like physically like angry that the Mets would dare snatch our, I don't know, third, fourth string hitting coach from under our noses. I mean, I saw some tweets where like, there goes Steve Cohn snatching a coach from right under Hal Steinbrenner's nose. I was like, do people know that the Yankees had to give them permission to do? I don't know, but for whatever reason, it ran through Twitter. It was quite the story. And listen, my take on it is simple. I think I responded to Ozzie Jr. Ozzie Jr. put out like a tweet, saying, to his followers, like, hey, you guys want to know what's going on with this Yankee stuff. And he tagged a couple people from my team. So I obliged. And I was like, look, guys, it's simple, right? The Yankees' approach this year to the hitting coach vacancy was they wanted to approach it by committee. They're like, we're going to put a team of guys in place. Not that they didn't always have a team, but like this year, it was going to be more team oriented. And even the head guy was going to be a guy whose approach was a little bit more of a committee approach. So they went and they got Dylan Lawson, who's been in our system as a minor league hitting coordinator since 2018, right? You're going to hear a little bit more about him later. Eli's going to tell you something about it, right? That's nice. Right. And we've been filling out, we go filling out the positions. And towards the end, right, what do? We get a veteran guy in Eric Chavez, who's played baseball, who was successful at the major league level, to round out the team. The Mets don't have a hitting coach, period. They don't have the guy who's going to lead their guys. So they see the hiring of Eric Chavez and they say, well, he's a part of the team over there on the Yankees, but he would be leading the team over here with us. Yeah. So they reached out to the Yankees and said, hey, could we, interview this guy? Let's interview him. Could we offer him? Let's see what he could bring to the table, because we think he could be the leader of our hitting team over here. The Yankees obliged. He went, interviewed. The Mets liked what they heard and saw, and they offered him the lead hitting coach job. Right. Which is a promotion from the job that he had accepted with the Yankees. Yeah. So naturally, he was going to take that promotion and go. Like, imagine you could be, I don't know how to put this to people, but it's like, instead of being like the fourth guy on the team, the fourth of the starters, you could get promoted to the captain of the team somewhere else. 9 times out of 10, you're going to go where you could be the captain. That's what he was offered. He was offered the head position of the hitting coach over there. And so he went and took his talents over there. Congratulations to him. Very happy for him. You know what I'm saying? Good for him. But this is not a knock on the Yankees, guys.
No. And it's funny too, because I could see where people are trying to go with it. But it's not that. Like, you can make jokes about it, and that's cool, whatever. You want to make a little funny joke. Cool. Nobody's upset about that. It is comical. It's the Mets, of course. Because, look, it wouldn't even be a topic of conversation if it was another club. It's just funny because it's the Mets, and the Mets are doing all this. And they're the hot ticket right now. Let's be real. The Mets are the hot ticket right now. Steve Cohen's the hot name right now. So, I see where fans were taking that. But, again, the guy got a promotion, fam. So, it is no big major story and insult that you could knock the Yankees. It was nothing. Like, he didn't steal anything.
Exactly.
It's nothing like that.
It's not. I think what the misconception is that he hadn't officially signed with the Yankees, right? And he was still like a free agent. See, that would be different, guys. If he was still like, looking for a job and he was still in the market and he was on the verge of a deal with the Yankees, and then the Mets swooped in and said, no, we're going to land you.
Yep.
That's different. That would look a little different. Be like, damn, the Mets just came and like ate the Yankees food type shit. It really wasn't that, bro. Like, the Yankees and Eric Chavez agreed to a deal. This happened pre-lockout. I think I don't know if we reported on it then, but I know we definitely tweeted about it, all of us, like, hey, that's nice pickup or whatever. It was a done deal. And then the lockout comes, and then the Mets decide, hey, you know what? We know that this guy just signed a deal with the Yankees, but, I mean, the season hasn't started. He probably hasn't even started working with their guys yet. Maybe they'd be, open to letting us talk to him so that he could be the lead hitting coach over here. Yeah. So they had to get permission from the Yankees to even talk to him, because he had already agreed to a deal with the Yankees. So that's what happened. It wasn't like he was still out there and then it was like before he could sign with us, the Mets swooped in. Like, no, he was already like with us, and the Yankees were like, hey, he's got it's a better opportunity for him over there. Let him go. Trust and believe if the Yankees saw this guy as a guy's like, no, he's absolutely irreplaceable on our team, they wouldn't have let the Mets talk to him.
No, not at all. That's right.
It's not like they called and asked, hey, could we talk to Matt Blake? I think if they called, and if anybody calls right now and asks for a conversation with Matt Blake about anything, the Yankees are saying, hell no.
Yeah, not happening.
Like, you're not talking to Matt Blake.
And if the Yankees, the Yankees also could have gave him the head hitting coach position.
If they want, thank you. Well, that's a good point that didn't come out yet. If they really were that high on him, clearly the Mets are higher on him than the Yankees are. That's the point that needs to be made because of what you just said. If the Yankees were that high on him, he would have been the hitting coach.
Yeah.
But they interviewed for a while. I don't know if you guys remember. We covered it on DS.
Yep.
Towards the end of last season. It took a while for the Yankees to finalize their coaching staff.
Yeah. Very much.
Even to the point where we were like, damn, what's taking so long, kind of thing. Like,
to the point it's still not finalized. In reality, now,
right?
It's still not finalized.
It's still not finalized. They took a while to name, to appoint Dylan Lawson as the guy. They didn't just from one night to the next say, all right, look, we fired Marcus Timms, we got rid of Piliteri, let's go and just Dylan's gonna get the job. No, they vetted and they interviewed a lot of cats and they spoke to a lot of people and then eventually landed on Dylan Lawson as the guy.
Yep. And
it's exciting, man. It's nothing to freak out about. I know, but it's
not at all.
It's like I tweeted
it's fun because
in
it's
response.
The Mets, that's all.
Exactly. That's the funny thing. That's what I tweeted out. I was like, guys, if anything, it's just hilarious that it happened to be the Mets. That's what it is.
Right.
That's why it's so funny because of everything that happened pre-lockout.
Correct.
With the Mets signing players and the Yankees not signing anybody. And then now this happens and it's just like, oh my God, the Mets are taking... No, don't get me wrong.
The Mets are stealing our guys. I mean, they're stealing our hype. No doubt about it.
That's
that
a fact.
You can make. You could say that.
And
they're showing us up as an owner too. We understand all that. Don't
make
legit.
a mistake about it. Yeah, we're not stepping back. We're not walking back what we said about the Mets, overtly taking the hype and being the hotter ticket in New York right now. That's still in place.
Yeah, no
but
doubt
this coaching thing has nothing to do with that.
No,
guys.
not at all.
Come on.
So with that being said, since there is conversation about coaches on there, I'm going to go ahead and have us cut away to one of our favorite guests on this show. I mean, he really is.
Yes, sir.
Eli Fishman, our good friend. Guys, you're going to absolutely love this. Check it out right here. What is going on, everybody? We are here with a favorite of the show. I hate being biased, but I got to be. Eli is a favorite of the designated Spittaz. Eli Fishman, my good friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you guys for having me. Always a pleasure.
Of course, man. Everything there is to know about Yankees minor leagues. And let me tell you something, man. Fans are very excited about a lot of the guys in the system. So, Francis, I'm going to throw it over to you. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, man. First of all, thanks, Eli, coming back. I mean, after last year, you came on our episode, and then we started to see you like everywhere. I'm like, oh man, this guy, it's gonna be tough to get him back on the show. But I'm glad you're here. Like Pete said, there's so many prospects that people want to know about. But the first guy that I wanted to ask about is a guy whose name we kind of heard about last year, but since he's so young, 20 years old, there's a lot still that we don't know about him, and that's Everson Pereira. I know he's an outfielder. He had really great numbers last year, right? And he's been thrown in a lot of like mock trade talks all over Twitter that, fans are coming up with or whatever. But I'm saying, like, what's this guy's ceiling realistically? Like, before people go and throw him into this deal and that deal and whatever, like, what do you think his value is right now realistically?
I think his highest ceiling is definitely an above average center fielder in Major League Baseball. And he could definitely do that. The only thing is, you say that a lot and that's the ceiling, but obviously that's not what you're going to get. We always talk about this. You never know how prospects can turn out, but Pereira, the age, man, 20 years old, we talk about Dominguez and everything. And Pereira was actually in Dominguez's same position when Pereira was 18 years old. He was playing in low A ball, right? And there was all this hype about Jason Dominguez this year being so young. Everson Pereira did a very similar thing in Staten Island in 2019 when he was 18. So he's so young, very talented, great defender with the glove in center field, good arm. Yankees fans don't love their strikeouts, and he does strike out a little bit, but that's going to come with the power. Throughout the organization this past year, a lot of guys really broke out in the power department. especially a young guy named Anthony Volpe. But Pereira, one stat I saw is if Pereira had as many at-bats as Anthony Volpe in 2021, I think he would have hit 45 home runs, which would have led all of minor league baseball. Every team, every affiliate, everything, that would have led all of minor league baseball. So
what we're looking at, it sounds like, is a plus defender in center field. We're looking at potential high strikeout numbers, but also slugging percentage.
Yes, and the high strikeout percentages, it feels like it's going up every year. You know, I don't know exactly what his strikeout percentage was, but I'm sure it was like average or maybe a little bit above average for the Yankees organization, but not by that much. You know, it's not it's not insane. It's not Joey Gallo.
Okay. Yeah. And Eli,
he strikes out.
He strikes out.
And obviously, come on, that's nothing new in baseball today. That's not something that scouts are going to say, well, this guy's not worthy because he strikes out. Yeah. One of the things I've actually been correlating with is, and for an example, this is a major league guy. It's kind of off track, but since we're talking about strikeouts and whatnot, I just want to throw this out there. Something I've noticed about a lot of guys, if you look at their stats year after year, Matt Chapman being one of them, when his his fly ball percentage has gone up, his hard contact has come down, and his strikeout numbers have gone through the roof. Averages dropped, all these other numbers dropped. And I'm wondering, because I do know that there's a philosophy out there, hit more homers, hit the ball in the air more, but you want to hit in the air with hard hit rate. So you still want to make hard contact. But I feel like a lot of these guys are getting away from who they are to try to become a new type of player and hit some more homers, get that launch angle up, do what a lot of these analytic numbers are looking for. Are you noticing anything like that in the minor leagues also? Like for a guy like Pereira, for an example, you said his strikeout numbers have gone up year after year, but the net power numbers seem to have gone up also.
Yeah, I don't know if his strikeout numbers have actually gone up year after year. I'm not positive about that. I mean, he hasn't played much before, before 2021, but that's definitely part of it. You know, I feel like the game is shifting in a direction where instead of hitting the ball 110 miles per hour back off the pitcher's head, you're trying to hit it over the fence and not necessarily up the middle. So I feel like that's the direction the game of baseball is going in. And obviously in the minor leagues, I very much noticed that. That's something that's going to continue to keep going and going. And, with Pereira, the value is just so high that the strikeout rate and all that, like it doesn't make you worry considering, where he is and where the game of baseball is going, because all of these prospects really kind of do fall into that category.
And Eli, he's ranked roughly like mid-pack everywhere, correct? On top 30s around.
I have him on my top 30. I have him at number 12.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Just I guess a follow-up question really quickly. What do you think his ETA is to MLB?
I would say 2023.
Nice.
Maybe a little bit later in the season, maybe a little bit later in 2023. This year, he's probably going to be high A, AA, and then AAA major leagues is in all likelihood 2023. So he's going to be 21 when he makes his big league debut. If that's
what I'm saying. We got another situation where it's going to be like Glaber. Yeah, they're going to be like, he's only 21. He's only 22.
Yeah, and another thing is with the Rule 5 draft, there was so much. That's my favorite day of the year when all the prospects got added.
You broke all the news, Eli. You broke all the news.
Yep.
It's fun. It's a fun day. And like just to comment on that with Pereira and all the guys that were added to the 40-man, we saw how good the players were that were bumped off the 40-man and released in order for these guys to be added. And the whole thing with the Rule 5 draft is Pereira, if he was picked in the draft, would have to stay on an MLB roster all season in 2022. So what him being added to the 40-man roster at 20 years old means is that the Yankees are so confident in his abilities to play for them and confident that he would be picked up in a Rule 5 draft and another team could keep him on their MLB roster for his age 20 season. So that puts it in perspective a little bit about how talented he is and how highly the Yankees think of him to add him to that add him to the 40-man roster, especially when he was definitely in trade talks. I'm sure Brian Cashman was pitching him to a lot of teams, obviously part of the Joey Gallo trade rumors at first. So there's definitely a market for him, and that goes to show that he's a darn good prospect.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There's something I want to touch on, but I'm going to touch on this a little later because I sense another really nice crop of Yankee prospects getting close all together at one time. And even more to reason they should go out there and spend money. But we'll get to that. We're going to get to that eventually. Two pitchers I want to ask you about. Hayden Wesneski and J.P. Sears. These are two guys. I know Wesneski's a big Texas kid. Sears a lefty. Can you give us a little background on both of these guys and where they kind of project in the system?
To start with Sears, I absolutely love him. I saw him in 2019 or maybe it was 2018 in Tampa, when it was the low A affiliate for the Yankees. And he just really impressed. Like, he's a little lefty, not very big at all, throws relatively hard, mid-90s, but his fastball, they say it's the spin rate. It's just one of those fastballs that just misses bats. Like, it's just one of those fastballs that doesn't get barreled up very often at all, gets a lot of swing and misses out of the zone with that fastball. I think he's also got a nice slider and changeup, and he's got a very deceptive delivery. He kind of like comes back really short and then goes out long. And watching him in Somerset this year was definitely a treat. He's really, really impressive. And again, added to the 40-man roster was great to see. For a guy that's been grinding in the minors for a while and really had a breakout year this year. As for Wesneski, the stuff is definitely there. He impressed. He blew through high A, double A, triple A. But the tough part about what I have to say is 3 of the starts I saw this year for him, he didn't make it through 2 or 3 innings. He really struggled in double A in a few of the starts. He's another guy with a lot of spin rate and a lot of movement on all of his pitches. But there were some games in double A where just his fastball, just got hit very, very hard. Yeah. So I'm honestly not insanely high on him. That doesn't mean he's not going to be a big time player. And he could be and may very well be in the big leagues with the Yankees at some point this season. They brought him up to AAA at the end of the year when Somerset season ended for a couple of weeks, which means they think very highly of him. And again, he's a very, very young guy, a 2019 draft pick. So this was really his first full professional season. Yeah. And he made it all the way up to AAA, which is insanely impressive. So, there's a lot to like about him, but me personally, I'm not as high on him as other people, and I'm a little bit skeptical, especially with the fastball. But he is very accurate. He throws a lot of strikes. That's one thing I do like.
One of the things I was told about Sears and Wesneski is that a lot of people believe they both end up in a bullpen.
Yeah, Sears, I could see that with Wesneski. I think he honestly could actually maybe see him more as a starter just because, as I said, he's not a guy that has an insane Luis Medina curveball, 100-mile-per-hour fastball that he's going to wipe guys away. He's more of, a throw strikes, put
finesse
the ball
type
in play
of guy.
Kind of guy. Yeah. And with Sears, he's done both throughout his whole minor league career. I know in 2021, he bounced back every couple of weeks. They threw him in for a start role. And then, the next week they put him in the bullpen just to get him experience as both. So I think we could definitely see Sears in the bullpen and maybe making some spot starts for the big league team this year. Because, he's got a very versatile repertoire, and he's a guy that I would have so much confidence in him making a start for the Yankees at any point this year. And Yankees fans very much should. He was a steal too. They got him in the which trade was it? I think it was I'm trying to remember, to the Mariners. It wasn't the Justice Sheffield trade, but it was they got him. He was like in rookie ball. It was I don't even know if he'd made his professional debut, and the Yankees just had him thrown in. But he was an absolute steal. I can't believe I don't remember which trade that was.
I'll find it. France, you could go on to the next question. When I find it, I'm just gonna jump in and just scream it out of nowhere.
All right.
Yeah, because I'm like, I remember we've done 2 like pretty big deals with them. Not pretty big, but like 2 deals with them that I remember recently. Paxton, one of them, or whatever. And
maybe it was the patent.
Oh, Nick Rumbelow. Nick Rumbelow deal.
Nick Rumbelow deal.
They got Guan Then also, but that didn't go nowhere. I think he's gone now, wasn't he? Guan Then got traded, right?
He got picked up to the Mariners.
Back to the Mariners. That's what it was. Okay, I knew it was something like that.
There you go. Well, speaking of another guy who got kind of a taste of his first professional action in 2021. The highly touted, super hyped up next Mike Trout, Jason Dominguez. It's like I said, he got his first action, but like I said, he's still pretty raw, right? I mean, that's what we've gotten. That's what we've heard so far from how he fared this year. But like I said, there's still like an insane amount of hype around this guy. So I guess my first question is, how far away from the majors do you think he is realistically? We all know he's a baby. He's still young, right? So how far you think he still is from the majors realistically? And I'll follow up after you answer this, actually.
All right. So he was in low A. He did rookie ball low A last year. So this year, 2022, he's going to do low A, high A. 2023, high A, double A. 2024, triple A big leagues is kind of the path. So 2024 would be the aim year around there as in terms of his path right now. So yeah.
So that being said, 2024 being like the realistic time that you could see him actually being on a major league team. If his name came up as like a starter in a big trade talk for the New York Yankees and you're at the helm, would you move him if it was for the right deal, like for the right name, somebody who you felt you couldn't pass up? Or is he somebody that in your eyes is absolutely untouchable right now?
I wouldn't say he's untouchable. I honestly wouldn't. Because in the right situation, like obviously the Yankees don't want to trade Jason Dominguez, but one thing I saw on MLB Network was the trade pitch. It was Byron Buxton for Jason Dominguez straight up. And I said, yes.
Oh, wow.
Said, absolutely.
Wow.
Because
even with the injury history.
So lucky. Yes. Byron Buxton is one of my, personal favorite players, center fielders. When he's healthy, he's a top 10 player in the game. Jason Dominguez, think about how lucky the Yankees would be if Jason Dominguez turns out to be Byron Buxton. And the kid's 18 years old in low A, barely got a taste of low A this season. So I would 100% pull the trigger in a trade like that. And in the right deal, I would. So I wouldn't say he's untouchable. But, the Yankees, obviously, think about the look it would be on Brian Cashman. The GM's biggest worry when the GMs make the trade, they're not like Billy Bean, like, oh, in Moneyball, like, I don't care. Like the media or my owner or whatever, they could think whatever they want about me. That's not how it actually is. A GM's biggest worry is like a Bobby Bonilla type of thing where you're paying him a gazillion dollars forever or those kind of deals. That's the GM's biggest worry. And trading Jason Dominguez, it also just wouldn't be a good look. So I do not at all expect the Yankees to trade Jason Dominguez.
Yep.
But me personally, I would 100% pull the trigger in the right situation.
Yeah, and Sweeney Murdy actually brought that up to me. He was like, the reason they won't ever trade him, he doesn't think, they invested a lot in him.
Yeah,
they invested a lot of money in this guy.
Biggest international signing aside for I think out of Central America.
Yeah, so I mean, they invested a lot of money to get him back out to get him here, and they want to see that investment pay off for them. They don't want to see it pay off for somebody else.
Right.
But I'm there with you. For Buxton, I'm like, maybe. But for me, I know I put a couple of tweets out there, some videos, just shooting the shit basically. And I remember talking about, well, the Yankees go out there and get a guy like Brian Reynolds. I mean, yes, of course you deal Dominguez in a deal like that. I mean, because like you said about with Buxton, if you're able to acquire, like you said, if he's healthy, a top 10 player in the league, you do that because your hope is that Dominguez is that, but there's no guarantee of that. So to be able to get somebody like that, I think you have to be very open to making those type of decisions. Francis, you had anything else on Dominguez?
Yeah. Like I said, I mentioned, and a lot of people have mentioned, he's still pretty raw right now. Like, what's your assessment of that? Like when people say like, yeah, he's got a lot of things to work on. Like what have you seen that you're like, okay, like, yeah, he's really got to work on these things in 2022 to like take that next step?
Yeah, the swing and miss department definitely, as we talk about, it's just a trend. It's just a trend. And for a guy who has as much power as Dominguez, it's going to come. And he's very, very raw. I mean, he's 18. He's 18 years old. Like, cut it off at that. He's younger. Is he? No, he's like a couple months older than me. So, so I mean, like, that right there should be your answer as to how young he is. And like one thing I keep saying is he hit a ball 430 feet off of Vince Velasquez on a rehab start in low A. Vince Velasquez has like 8 years of big league experience. Yep. I'm sure he's like in his early 30s, and an 18-year-old hit a ball 430 feet for a home run off of him. Like that I feel should put it in perspective. Everything I'm saying a little bit as to how young he is, how raw he is, but also how much potential there is. And I did write a little bit of like a scouting report for Prospects 1500 about Dominguez. If you guys should check that out, the listeners too. But one thing I did say is the muscle on him, and his build is a little bit worrisome for me.
Because I've said that for a while myself. Yeah, especially at his age right now.
Yeah, because unless if he doesn't gain any more muscle and just works on agility, there's even a little bit worried about the speed staying there and being able to play center field staying there. But if the Yankees really want this, he would have to lose muscle if he wanted to be a 5-tool guy. If you want to cut out the speed, he would have to work on agility and be a 4-tool above average guy. Or, if he continues to gain muscle and continues to be a power hitter, he could be an insane power hitter, insane, but the defense and speed would drop. So there's very much I would say a predicament that the Yankees and Dominguez are in with that situation, and deciding exactly how they want his development to go. And I'm very curious to see that. And I'm a little bit curious to see what kind of shape he shows up in spring training. And, the drills he's been doing. Hopefully he'll post some off-season workout videos, because that's the only taste baseball fans are getting of anything right now. But yeah, just overall, Dominguez is so exciting, so fun to watch. And so much, the pressure on him is crazy, and the hype about him is crazy. And seeing how he plays, seeing how he handles himself, given all this pressure, has been a lot of fun. Obviously you're hoping for the best with him, and hoping that he does turn out to be the hype.
Yeah, man. One of the things, it's funny because that reminds me of an Ozzie Guillen story when he was with the Marlins, and Marlins ownership were like, "Oh, Miguel Cabrera is going to be a great shortstop." He's like, "No, he's not. No, he's not. He can't. His body's way too big. He's going to grow way big. Oh no, he'll be a shortstop. No, he's not." And they got mad at Ozzie for saying that, but Ozzie was right. He's like, "I told you, there's no way."
And everybody
be a shortstop.
Yeah, everybody keeps saying that about obviously the Yankees shortstops in their system is crazy. Peraza, Volpe, Vargas, and then Sweeney,
Arias,
and then
Roderick Arias is going to be there
coming up. And what I was going to say about Roderick is everyone's like, "Oh, we don't need another shortstop." I'm like, he's 16 years old. Miguel Cabrera was a shortstop.
Right.
Remember, I don't know if you guys know Dermis Garcia, who was in the Yankee system.
I got a question.
He started as a shortstop. He started as a shortstop.
Wasn't he going to be converted to a pitcher too at one point?
I don't know. I never heard anything about that.
I swore I heard that.
There was this article. I know what you're talking about. I remember hearing it. Was it him?
I'm pretty sure it was Dermis Garcia, because I followed him for a while, because he was like a hype train early on. Yeah. And you would hit moonshots and all this, but the average was always very low, and he never kind of fulfilled what people thought he would be.
He has a high strikeout rate. Talk about strikeouts.
Very high strikeout rate.
I think it was close to 50%.
Oof, my goodness. Hey, he could be at the Major League roster today. They love that. But I want to ask you, I want to ask you this question, because there's a lot of these guys out there. And I think people like me, Francis, you, of course, who follows a lot of the minor league stuff, we might have our own ideas. Maybe some of the fans who don't. Who's an outfield prospect that you don't hear about a lot, that fans really should keep an eye on this year?
There's a solid amount actually at the lower levels that they have that I'm looking forward to. Elijah Dunham is one in particular, left-handed bat, right fielder. I think he plays left field too. Had a big time season this year. He was an undrafted free agent in 2020. So this was his first year. He played in low A and high A Hudson Valley. Had a great season, then went to the Arizona Fall League, absolutely tore it up in the fall. I think he hit 360 something, was the comeback or it was I don't know if it was comeback or something like that, like biggest improvement player of the year in the Arizona Fall League, and was an all-star there. He's very talented, a lot of speed, fun to watch. A guy who I always talk about is, I just freaking love this kid, Madison Santos. He got a few games in low A this season. He's an outfielder. He's like really, really small. The comp a little bit is Brett Gardner. He's really small, really fast. He's very good on the bases, very good defender. The hit tool is okay, not very much power, but the potential for power. And he's very far away and, again, very raw. But, like, I would have a lot of confidence if he's only played, I think, 15 games in low A above rookie ball. But I would have so much confidence, this is how much I like him, in being a bench guy on the Yankees right now, and he could skip A ball, double A, triple A, and put him on the bench because great defender, a lot of speed, the lefty bat with the potential for pop. So I love that kid. And I'm really hoping for a breakout season for him this year. He had a solid year in rookie ball. Then when he went to low A, had a little bit of struggles. Another guy is who I always skip over because he's so underrated is Brandon Lockridge. So he was not added to the 40-man. So technically he's Rule 5 eligible. But however this lockout looks, as of right now, he's still Yankee. So hopefully he stays that way. But he's a center fielder with a lot of speed on the bases, very good hit tool, hits the ball extremely hard. He was a lot of fun to watch in Somerset this year. So him, Ryder Green is a guy who I really like, who was a 3rd round pick. I want to say 2017. And his power is insane. He had a ball over the batter's eye at George Steinbrenner Field this season. But he's another guy, and he's a great defender, but he's another guy who's very raw and some ways away. But Lockridge and Dunham are the top 2 guys to keep an eye on. And then Santos, I love him. He's a sleeper.
Nice.
All right, I'm gonna take it back to a name that a lot of people have been hearing nonstop about. We already mentioned him. Pete met him a little while ago. And this is the number 1 prospect in the Yankee system, Mr. Anthony Volpe himself. Not just number 1 in the Yankee system, number 15 in all of MLB, which was a huge jump last year, and we're super proud of him for the year he put together and the fact that he's putting the entire league on notice about what he can do. He seems like a keeper at this point, right? So I'm not like I don't really see the Yankees moving him like the same way that you said with Dominguez. Like it'd be a bad look. I think at this point right now it'd be an even worse look if they moved Volpe. So be that as it may, what do you think his production looks like when he finally arrives at the MLB level?
Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman. I hate to go with the Astros left side of the infield.
I love it. I love it. You could go with that all day.
Listen,
look, I'm not an Astros hater in that sense. Those guys are damn good ball players.
Talent is talent.
Talent
is talent. That's great. That's great to hear.
It's a very high ceiling, but I think those 2 guys are very, very comparable to him, especially Altuve on the defensive front. Volpe, I always say Volpe's a freaking wizard defensively at shortstop, and maybe we see him move over to second, maybe we see him move over to third. Be that as it may, and Bregman's swing is definitely a little bit comparable to him, and Altuve's I see a little bit because of they're all 3 of those guys, Volpe, Bregman, and Altuve are very, very small guys.
Yes.
That put the ball in play a lot, are very fast, and out of nowhere, when you least expect it, will hit a ball 450 feet. Yep. All 3 of those guys, especially considering how little they are. I feel like that is very much around Volpe's ceiling. He's right now he looks like he's going to be a big league star, and he, in my opinion, I think is the only untouchable Yankees prospect.
That's exactly what I've said.
Cannot trade him.
I agree.
That's exactly what I've said for a while.
Agree.
And you're right, Eli. When I had the pleasure of meeting him and hearing him speak and talking to him for a few minutes, the one thing I remember turning around to my friend after he left is, how in the hell does this kid hit a ball 420 plus feet?
Yeah.
He's small.
It's crazy.
He's not big at all. Like at all. Like even when I'm next to him, I'm like, damn, I'm what, 5'11", 210, 205. And I'm like, man, I'm way bigger than him. Way bigger than him. Even my hands, when I shook his hand, I'm like, man, I don't even got no big hands on. He's like, he's not like, where are you getting this from? And I say, you know what it is? It's the pasta. It's the Italianness. It's the Italianness. No, man, but he was great to listen to, and it reminds me so much of Derek Jeter, his father.
Just the way he speaks.
And his family history, just like the history of him talking about his face. Like his father's a doctor. Michael Volpe's a great guy, fan of the show. Shout out to Michael Volpe. Facts. And, his grandfather in World War II and just the way he spoke about them. And I'm so happy I filmed that. And then even hearing just his previous coaches talk about him and like where his mindset is, and even hearing him talk, just saying, I want to get, everybody knows you had a great year, but he's like, it's not enough. Like that's not where I want to be. I want to be even better. There's things I didn't do good that I know I need to improve on. So there's certain things in some players' minds when you watch them, you hear them talking like, I don't know. This kid, you're like, he does. Like he is all, you could tell when people talk about hard work, this dude is obsessed with being great. And I think that's something that you can't teach. That just comes with the person. And this is a guy that, look, if he ever did turn out as a bust, make him a bust on your team. You have to hold him. You will never look wrong for holding on to this guy and not dealing him. You have to hold Anthony Volpe. And I agree with you. He's the only guy I do not move.
Yeah, for me,
it doesn't stop me from getting Correa, because like you said, this kid could still move other places if need be, or Correa could go to third base. Like Gary Sheffield Jr. said the other day, if there's a back problem, put him at third base. Put Correa at third base if that's the issue. You got Volpe at short. And if you're that high on him, let's be real, Volpe's not far away.
He's not. I would have confidence. I keep saying this about him and Peraza. Yes, they have ways to go, but I would still have confidence in them putting at shortstop as my opening day shortstop. 100% confident.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. I agree.
That's what I'm saying. So I guess my follow up with Volpe is just like, I think the MLB prospect thing, which to me is always all off. I think they had him. It's like really, it's always just a little bit late, not all off. I don't want to, crap on him, but I think they had Volpe at like ETA 2024 a little while ago, right? I don't know if they still have that. Maybe they updated it, but I'm like 2024 at this point seems really late for them.
2023 right now.
Right now, they updated it.
Seeing,
so they updated to 2023. Okay, but even that, like 2023, like I wonder if they're saying like end of the year 2023, because it's like, for me, it's like the way I'm looking at him, I think he's either on the opening day roster in 2023 or he's like that first call up once they have that thing so they can manipulate the service time.
Yeah, he's definitely starting in AA this year. If he performs anywhere near the way he did last season, he is, however they manipulate the service time, the day they can, he's getting called up to the big leagues in 2023. He might be the big league opening day shortstop in 2023. And if he really produces, I think the Yankees definitely want to take their time with him. But AA is really one call from the big leagues.
That's right.
It's
any
really
scout.
there.
I always tell everybody this. Every scout I've ever spoke to told me the biggest jump is to AA, because that's where all the legitimate guys really are. AAA, you got a lot of your journeymen there. Guys can eat up on that for a little while. AA is a pure talent pool, and it really
all the talent is there. Yeah,
absolutely.
So Volpe, I mean, my goodness, the hype I have on him myself of just hoping that he does well is really off the charts, and not just because of him, because what it does to the Yankees and what it would do to have a guy like this. Because this is a guy, I think also too, he's not going to come in and be like, oh, well, I'm happy I'm here. I feel like this kid is going to be like, I'm part of this damn club. Like I'm here. I want to be a leader of this team. I don't want to just sit back. Like I want to win. And that's what this team really, really needs. And, I saw somebody talk about the other day, they got to build guys around who they have, like with Judge. Well, these guys' window is kind of getting to that point of where they're now no longer prospects anywhere near that. They are going to be signed long-term. So one of the things I wanted to bring up earlier that we were getting to is there's a very nice crop of young Yankee prospects coming up. And this is one of the main reasons why I feel like spending money on big name players right now is extremely important, because you have your Everson Pierre, you have your Volpe, you have your Peraza, you have even if you want to see a guy like Florial that could be a fourth outfielder, maybe a starter, hit for some homers, bat low average, strikeout rates. We know all that. But I just feel like with this young crop coming up, we didn't even talk about Austin Wells. We didn't talk about Medina, Luis Heel, who we saw. But do you get that same sense that now at the upper levels, there's a huge crop of talent that this team has, whether you trade some of those guys for an Olsen and improve your team? There's so many different routes you could take, but do you agree with the sentiment that maybe you do go out there and spend now because you do have a lot of this youth pool coming up that could infuse this team and get rid of some of those larger salaries?
Absolutely. I think you definitely need to spend the big bucks. And what I keep saying is spend it at the positions that you really need. You look at first base and you look at center field, in my opinion, as two very, very big spending spots where you need to spend a boatload of money, because at shortstop, you do have all those prospects. And, you know, at center field and outfield, there are a solid amount of guys. And first base, there's absolutely no one. The Yankees' biggest spending spot, in my opinion, should be first base. But there's definitely so much talent that is coming up that you can look so far into the future to see and hope that the next big money you're going to spend after you get hopefully like a Freddie Freeman or Brian Reynolds or whoever it may be, that the next time you're going to spend money is in 5-6 years when you're going to have to sign these guys to the same extensions that you're going to have to sign Aaron Judge to. And that's the most positive, optimistic outlook you can have. And I think that's the outlook the Yankees need to have. And I know there was so much hate on them for not making any moves at the beginning of this offseason pre-lockout, but I think Brian Cashman, I have confidence that he definitely will come out firing when this lockout ends and will do the job that he needs to do in order to spend this money and in order to make this team look like a darn good team come opening day.
Listen, I got 2 more questions, but these are probably the 2 most important ones on my list.
Oh, I'm ready.
The 2 most important ones. This one is very near and dear to my heart because I have been deceived, if you will. A guy by the name of Gary Sanchez.
Oh, it is. Oh my God. I was just joking.
A guy by the name of Gary Sanchez, came up and, showed just amazing ability, as a hitter, right? Came up, looked like one of the best pure hitters I'd seen in a very long time. Somewhere along the way, he seems to have been broken. Maybe it's been the shift of focus to defense and all these other things. I don't want to get into why Gary Sanchez hasn't really worked out, but be that as it may, he's got 1 more year left before he hits free agency. Now, I don't personally think that the Yankees should re-sign Gary Sanchez. I think that the time to move on from Gary Sanchez was last offseason. They kept him. Now, this offseason, I was like, well, maybe they'll move on from him. We don't know yet. There's a lockout going on. We have no idea what they're going to do. Maybe they do trade him with the whole, the advent of the DH going to the National League. He becomes really attractive. Who knows? If not, he's going to be our catcher this year, and there's really nothing I personally can do about it. But after this year, he hits free agency, and so I'm imagining he's probably, that's where the Yankees and him part ways. Is there a prospect right now that you could see the Yankees saying, look, we're going to let Sanchez walk, and in 2023, we're going to give this guy a shot?
Nope, there's not. Next guy is Antonio Gomez, as I talk about a lot. He's so far away in terms of development, and let's see, he's 19, was in rookie ball, low A, high A, around 2024 for him. That's okay. Around there. So, and also, you never know how he's going to look in terms of a prospect in 2 years, being that he's 19 years old. Austin Wells, I'll say it and I'll keep saying it, is not going to play, not a catcher. If Yankees fans didn't like Gary Sanchez, they would absolutely shoot themselves in the head with Austin Wells behind the plate.
Yeah, right.
Josh Bro, the Yankees left off the 40-man roster, and he's a backup catcher at best, who's going to give you a lot of power. And he's a darn good catcher. Josh Bro, especially offensively, the pop is insane, but he is not a starting big league catcher. And there's not really any in the Yankees system right now, aside from Gomez in 2024, in my opinion. So they're going to have to go make some moves at the catcher position.
So yeah, basically what we're looking at here is they are in quite the pickle at the catcher's position, because if Gary Sanchez isn't what we thought he was going to be, and they don't have anybody on the horizon close enough in 2023 at least, something's got to be done. And like, we don't know what the free agent market's going to look like after this year or anything for catchers either. So that's an interesting one.
Very
interesting situation. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Nez, you brought up I know, France, I know you got another question. I just want to throw something in, then you could take that next one.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, Eli, too, that you bring up center. Matter of fact, I do got somebody that I want to ask you about. Talk about center field. You talk about the areas they should really look to spend money in, catcher, of course, being one of them, because we've all heard that, even private conversations I had, that I've been told multiple times, like, yeah, it's a horror show behind the plate. It's definitely not a major league catcher when it comes to Austin Wells. Bat wise, everybody loves him. But when it comes to the catching side, it's like, no, it's just, that's not going to work. But I want to talk about center field real quick, and a player that I absolutely love. And I think people really just look at the numbers in AAA and go, oh, well, this guy can't play. Estevan Florial. I don't think this kid, unfortunately, ever gets a shot with the Yankees. I think he's a better player, in my honest opinion, knowing potential health-wise. I know there's some injury history, too, with Florial. But center field, we have Aaron Hicks out there, who a lot of analytics people look back at 2018, and he had a great year in 2018. We know that. The 20-plus homers, on-base percentage almost 400. Terrific season. Never been that guy since then. Feels like he's slowed down a lot. Getting $10 million a year, we know that. What is the projection for you when it comes to Estevan Florial? Does this guy have a shot at all about maybe a fourth outfield? Does he have a shot at all about being a center fielder for the Yankees? Do they like him enough to be a center fielder?
I don't know in terms of how the Yankees feel about him, but also you talk about the AAA stats. In 24 big league at bats, the guy's hitting like 305.
Thank you.
With a homer. And, he's definitely a guy. I honestly don't think Estevan Florial could be a starting center fielder for the Yankees.
Okay.
A fourth outfielder or a guy to split time with Aaron Hicks, who could be a great contributor, a speedy guy off the bench and play a darn good center field, 100%. He could be a great contributor. And I think that another thing, again, the strikeouts in AAA are a bit worrisome, are solidly worrisome as someone looking at it from the outside and looking at those statistics. But, watching him the past couple of years, when he hits the ball, he hits it very well and very, very far when he squares one up. And, Yankees love their lefties with the short porch at Yankee Stadium. The speed is something very much missing on this Yankee team.
Yep.
He's runs the base as well,
yep.
Plays the outfield well. He would be a very, very valuable piece to this team, in my opinion, but not really a starter.
And here's the thing, Francis, before you get to your next question, that I want to just wrap up with Florial and why I'm so high on him and I like him so much. You summed it up, right? We need athletes on this team. He's an athlete. His body type is 100% athlete. He's fast. He could run. He could steal bases. He could go first to third. This team doesn't do a lot. He could score from first on a double. This team doesn't do a lot. Again, like you said, good glove in center field and pop. And the one thing a lot of players love, not players, but teams love, is a guy who could draw walks. He does that. He did it at this level when he was up. He almost walked as many times as he struck out. Yes, very small sample size. I get that. But he takes pitches in at bats. He'll get on base. He hits for power. Average may not be 250, might be low 200s, might be 210, 215. But like you said, even if you don't see him as a starter in center field, it's a hell of a bench bat. Hell of a guy to have off the bench, especially for this team.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you, real quick, just to put a button on the Florial stuff, like if you had the choice, right, re-sign Brett Gardner for your fourth outfield position this year, or just keep Florial up as your fourth outfielder this year, and it was your decision, Eli, what do you go with? Brett, Eli, Brett or Estevan?
I would be making a bunch of moves, and I would trade Florial because his value is so high. If you can get the right contract that's not like $6-7 million for Brett Gardner, and
then you do it,
save a couple $1 million, because Florial's trade value is very high.
Yeah.
And I do think that Brian Cashman has and will shop him because you have Brett Gardner in your back pocket. No matter what, Brett Gardner is going to be a guy if the Yankees do need him and do decide they want him in the fourth outfield position. And if I were to say, just in general, scratch all the contracts, scratch any of that, Brett Gardner, Esteban Florial, I would 100% take Brett Gardner any day of the week for the next couple of years. So that would be my answer to that question. Gardner definitely provides more, especially as a veteran. He's a lot faster than Florial. Well, Florial is fast, but not insanely fast. Probably 55, 60 grade speed on the 80 grade scouting scale. So
this is about 30
good,
points higher than most Yankees right now.
Probably.
Right up there.
Basically.
All right. Yeah, I got my last question, and then I guess whatever is about a guy who's been with our system, minor leagues, since 2018, but he's not a player, right? It's a guy who's been coaching for us since about 2018, and he's been our hitting coach, and now he's finally got the call up, I guess, if you will, to the big leagues, and he's going to be at the helm for the Yankees in 2022, and Mr. Dylan Lawson. Now, my biggest question here is, what do you knowing what you do about prospects and knowing what you do about the minor league system in general, obviously have a lot of information on like what this guy's, outlook is. So what do you think he's going to bring to the big league club in 2022? What do you think the Yankees saw in him that they said, we need this guy up with the guys at the major league level?
Think about everything we've just said in this interview, how much talent there is in this system, how many guys had breakout years this year, how Anthony Volpe can hit 28 home runs when he is a couple inches shorter than Pete, just how impressive the system was offensively this season. The base stealing department is something we haven't even touched on in terms of how impressive the minor leagues was with taking that extra base this season. And that's something they definitely worked on, something Volpe definitely worked on. Oswaldo Cabrera's breakout season, Volpe, Pereira, all these guys. Dylan Lawson is the man for all of that. He was the Yankees hitting coordinator, and the whole hit strikes hard philosophy, which, I talk a lot about. Lawson implemented that, and he has been at the forefront of bringing that into the system, bringing a mix of new school analytics and the blast motion sensor, which in batting practice, and ramping the machine up to 105 miles per hour for batting practice. Really tough pregame batting drills is one thing. Being a lot more patient at the plate is something that he definitely preaches. And just how successful the Yankee system was this season with the bat is very indicative of Dylan Lawson's philosophy and how much he can help this big league team and bring it to them. And I definitely think he fits that role of a mix of a little bit of old school, put the ball in play and hit and swing at strikes and work walks. And when you do swing at those strikes, make sure it's the best possible 100% effort swing that you can to hit the ball over the center field fence. So I feel like that is definitely something that Yankees fans could look forward to, and hopefully he can fix a lot of the Yankees troubles this season. And not Casey Dykes too was brought on as his assistant hitting coach, who was the AAA hitting coach and was under Lawson's wing, and Joe Migliaccio, who was the AA hitting coach, who was also under Lawson's wing, was promoted to the hitting coordinator. So all this ripple effect is just from the Yankees minor league success and what Brian Cashman and this Yankees front office staff saw from the development throughout the minors. So I think that's why he's on board, and that's what he's going to do.
That's exciting. I'm really happy to hear it's a nice mix of the traditional put the ball in play stuff, but then also, bringing that new school analytics to it. I'll be honest, I'm more excited that there's a traditional aspect to it because I feel like everybody's preaching the new school analytics stuff, and you can find that everywhere now because they know that that's what's in, and that's what people are going to try to promote about themselves if they're looking for a position with a major league team. So the traditional aspect to it really excites me.
I just love though the to add one more thing is the 100% effort every swing is my favorite thing. Because I'm not the biggest fan of two strikes hit the ball the other way, put it in play, or trying to hit a ground ball up the middle. It's maximizing, as we keep talking about, the ability for a professional baseball player with as much power and as much strength as these guys have, even an Anthony Volpe, to hit the ball out of the park, that the ability to do that is so big, not to take advantage of that. And that's what I think he did a great job doing, is maximizing the swings where the ball is going to leave the ballpark.
Well, last thing I have for you, Eli, I got to put you on the spot a little bit, man. Lockout ends. What do the Yankees do? Just your prediction. Yeah. I gotta put you on the spot.
It's just hard not to imagine, after the way this offseason is gone, Carlos Correa on the Yankees. And honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of it. The contract is my biggest worry. I think maybe they could get Trevor Story on like a relatively cheaper 4 or 5 year deal, maybe even a little bit shorter. Put down a solid amount of money at shortstop. But what I keep saying is I want Freddie Freeman as my first baseman, especially because, you talk about all like the Brian Reynolds and the Matt Olsons and all of these guys. We're going to have to give up a lot of prospects. Yankee, prospects run out a couple top prospects, and the Yankee system isn't nearly as sharp, and you don't have as much future to look forward to. The Yankees have a lot of money in their pocket, as we know. Yeah. So I think spending it on, this is one of the best, maybe the best free agent class in a long, long time. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of, I would be very happy with Anthony Rizzo too at first base, and putting a big payment on him for a long year contract. Same thing with Freddie Freeman. I'd pay him so much money. I'd break the AAV record for a position player for Freddie Freeman to be a New York Yankee. I think that would definitely be worth it for what he brings, not only on the field, but off the field as well. Yep. It's a business. Freddie Freeman is going to sell a lot of jerseys, going to sell a lot of tickets, going to be Mr. Marketing for the Yankees if he does come here. Even though you're inclined to say he's going to stay in Atlanta, and after what they did last year.
I don't know but you never know. Though. Yeah,
at this point, you don't know, right?
Hey, people have said that a lot, and right before the lockout, there's a former beat writer who is really good. I'll just say he's a friend of the show. He told me flat out, if you don't think Freddie Freeman will leave to come to the Yankees, you don't know what you're talking about. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. And the rumor was before that the Yankees were very interested in Freddie Freeman. Now, that wasn't fake. Oh, yeah. That there was actual interest there. One thing I got to ask you, because I hear a lot of fans say exactly what you just said, and I completely understand it. Take money aside and everything else. Who's a better player in your opinion, Carlos Correa or Trevor Story?
Carlos Correa, 100%. Okay.
I just want to get that out there.
100%.
Because you gave the logical answer. Because your answer is what my answer has been a lot of the time. The same thing is that I don't see the Yankees spending the money that it's going to cost to get him. They're going to go to more cost-friendly route. Yeah, so I want to throw it out there, because when I ask that question, typically, I would even just tell Yankee fans, who would you rather have as a player? And they all right away go to the money, and I get it. But as a player, Correa is beyond better. It's not even really a comparison of who's a better player. And Freddie Freeman, I agree with you with, man. I think Freeman would be unbelievable. I don't know if you've heard anything about this guy, but I want to, if you have, please talk about him. Have you heard anything at all about Seiya Suzuki? Because I hear phenomenal things about him. Okay.
Only what social media says. Right. But going back to the shortstop thing and the addition thing, I would not at all be opposed to Andrelton Simmons playing shortstop for the Yankees on opening day. And
don't scare me, Eli.
I do definitely feel like they could maybe get a big time third baseman or big time second baseman and move Glaber, and move Gio to shortstop. Like, I feel like there's definitely going to be, I feel like it's a puzzle that Yankees fans are like, here's Carlos Correa, here's this big piece to this big puzzle. We're going to put him in right here. Puzzle's done. But
no, I feel like it's not. Even if they got him, I said that. Me and Francis said it, right?
Yeah.
The puzzle's nowhere near done.
No, it's one piece.
Even on the left side of the infield.
Even on the left
side of the infield. Even for the left side of the infield, Carlos Correa or whoever it is not that one piece.
Eli, is the Yankees best infield with DJ LeMahieu at second base?
Yes, because they're a lot better. He's a Gold Glove second baseman, and if DJ LeMahieu is playing first base, that means there's not any other good first baseman.
You know, Eli, I liked you before this interview. I like you a lot more now. This one.
Eli, I promise this is the last thing. It has nothing to do with prospects, though. This is all about you. What's next for Mr. Eli Fishman? You had a big year last year.
Great question.
You had a big year last year, right? I'm sure not just us. I'm sure the rest of Yankees Twitter and the minor league world is looking to see what's next.
He is replacing Ken Rosenthal at the MLB Network. Breaking news. There will not be a bow tie, I don't believe.
Okay.
I don't know if Eli's a bow tie guy. Maybe he is. I don't know.
Not a bow tie guy, but I'd take that job.
Just watch your back, Manfred.
Yeah. Be careful what you say. That's it.
Yeah. If I'm careful what I say now, then imagine in his Ken Rosenthal shoes. But what I'm doing for 2022 summer is there's going to be a Yankees minor league podcast where every Monday I'm going to break down the last week in the Yankees minor league system. For the series, it's like a week long and Monday's the off day. So we're going to break down that whole series, have interviews on Mondays and throughout the week. I'm working on getting it started, potentially partnering with, some of the other websites that are out there and media outlets to bring that to Yankee fans and give a great inside look every week at the minor league system, get to know these players, and really have one outlet where you can learn everything there is to know and hear everything from everyone about the Yankee system. So I'm really looking forward to that, and, coming together slowly, and hopefully we'll be able to get off the ground soon. Also going to hopefully continue to write for Pinstripe Prospects, which is the best site for independent Yankees minor league coverage. We've got people at every level of the system, and then I run around and just write about everything with the Yankee system. So definitely keep your eyes there, and maybe some other stuff that I'm looking at too. So keep following on Twitter, all that, and Instagram is Eli J Fishman too. So yeah, I'll keep everybody updated.
All right. Of course, man. It is big year. No doubt about it. It's a big year for all of us, man. And I tell you, Eli, man, it is an absolute pleasure having you on. I'm sure it will not. Well, it won't be the last time. As long as you want to come back, it won't be the last time.
Anytime.
Definitely, man. So with that being said, guys, see you next time. Thank you, Eli.
Of course.
All right, man. I'm telling you, Eli is just awesome, man. I can't say enough about Eli Fishman. Guys, go follow Eli. You saw his handle all over there. You just see the knowledge, too, that Eli has for being such a young man, doing as much as he's doing right now, especially with the system. But he brought up a lot of great names. I mean, he brought up a lot of great names, a lot of things that he taught me a couple of things today about some names that I haven't heard much about myself. But I just love a lot of the things he said. He really follows along, too, with there's some disagreement there on the Major League roster and how the Major League team will go about it. But Eli even brings up the fact, the better player for the Yankees is Correa. And the Yankees should spend money now because they got this great crop of talent coming up. So just terrific interview. You have any takeaways?
Yeah, man. Shouts out to Eli for sure. I feel like it's going to be the same like it was last year. Like we talked to Eli, and then you're going to see Eli popping up on a nice little podcast tour once baseball's like back in the swing of things. But my biggest takeaway, I think I want to say, surprising enough, was that he is 100% in lockstep with us on the fact that Volpe, yes, is untouchable, but Dominguez not so much.
I was going to just say that, yeah.
And I think that's a big one for fans to hear. Not because I'm saying, you have to live and die with everything Eli says, but to give him his credit, guys, this guy's been around our minor league system for a decent amount of years. I know you look at him and you're like, well, this guy's a young kid. He must have just started this. No, like he literally posted a picture up the other day.
13 years old.
13
with Clark
years old.
Schmidt. Yeah, 13 years old.
Interviewing Clark Schmidt. Like, this guy's been around the system for a very long time.
Look like Dennis the Menace over there talking to him.
Dude, He knows these players. He knows these players as well as anybody, I would hazard, right? Because he's been very smart. To give him his credit, man, he's been very smart about his work. He's really focused and honed in on the Yankees minor league system. And when you focus on one niche thing like that, of course, you're going to become very knowledgeable on that. And he has indeed become super knowledgeable about it.
No doubt about it.
When I say that, it's to say, listen, this guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to prospects. He knows what they are because he's watching them more than we are. And if he's telling you guys, listen, for the right price, Dominguez is movable, he doesn't see it happening the same way we don't see it happening. Yep. We're not saying it's going to happen for sure.
Yep.
We're saying that in the right scenario, that the right scenario might exist where he could be moved. And Eli agreed with that. And to me, that was big. But then he also agreed that Volpe should be here and should be the only untouchable. And again, we both agree with that. Yeah. Even with everything we said about Correa, guys, we've never said sign Correa and trade Volpe. It's like, no, sign Correa and keep Volpe. And that's the left side of your infield for the dynasty that you're saying you're trying to build.
Yep. No, I'm right there with you on that. And yeah, he just brought up many great points. Guys, share that out. I'm telling you, fans are going to love it. They're going to, people that, you know, maybe don't have as much as an interest in the minor leagues, you're going to find it very valuable just learning about the Yankee system. Eli's the guy to go to for that. And, yeah, it's always a pleasure to speak to Eli Fishman. I tell you guys this, it will definitely not be the last time the Spitters speak with Eli Fishman. Francis,
oh no, friend of the show.
100% friend of the show. He's a friend of mine, you know what I mean? So you're a friend of mine. That's how he's introduced, you know. So he's definitely a friend of ours.
That's the guy.
That's the guy. Sunday Night Baseball is going to be looking a little different.
Yes, sir. In 2022.
You got some news on that, but one of our friends, Mr. Yes Network favorite himself, David Cohn. Oh, Michael K. Yeah, Mike, that's right. That's right.
I should have known you were going Cohn.
I was going Cohn. You know, I'm not a big K guy. You are definitely more than me.
I misstepped.
It don't matter because it's both of them anyway, so it don't make a difference.
It's both of them. Listen, yeah, Sunday Night Baseball shakeup. Let's start with that. That was big news, I think, this week, that they're shaking up the booth. I think, first of all, fans should be happy that there's going to be a shakeup, right? You guys have been complaining forever. And I don't want to just say you guys, like, I've been complaining forever. Like, I remember Mendoza was gone this year. Thank the Lord. It's not a thing. Like I said, has nothing to do with like, oh, because you just don't want to hear a woman. No, that's not.
Nah, Mendoza just sucked. I'm going to keep it honest with you.
I'm just not a fan of hers. Yeah. I'm not a fan of hers. And to show you guys, like, for instance, like, I am a huge Lauren Shahadi fan. She does stuff on MLB Network with Vasgersian, and
I like Marakovitz too.
Yeah, she's amazing. I like Meredith too. Like, so it's not a thing. Oh, that you just don't want to hit. That's not true. I'm a big fan of some women who are analysts and reporters. But Mendoza,
I'm a big fan of women overall.
If we being honest, I'm more of a fan of women than I'll ever be.
Papa freaks all the honeys, dummy.
You know what I mean? But listen, in all honesty, like, yeah, Jessica Mendoza just wasn't. I didn't like what she brought to the booth. Facts. I'm not saying that there's not a place for her. There's 100% a place for her in baseball. Just wasn't there. Yeah. So this year it was A-Rod, it was Matt Vasgersian, and to be honest, I'm gonna keep it real with you. It wasn't that much better without Jessica Mendoza. No, it wasn't. It was still, there was something still off, and I think ESPN saw that and they're like, look, we really got to shake this up. It's like this. It should be working because Vasgersian is a good play-by-play guy and A-Rod is a good color commentator, but it's still not working. So we got to figure something out. And so they shook it up. A-Rod's gone. Vasgersian is gone. And that's it. That trio, all three of them are now out this year, and they're bringing in Karl Ravech. Is going to be the play-by-play guy. You guys know him. You've heard him all over. He is not just ESPN, but MLB. You've heard Karl Ravech's voice, I hope. If not, Google him, and you'll see him, and you'll know exactly
who he is. Yep, that's right.
You heard his voice, right? Eduardo Perez, he got
his moments. I don't
want to say lesser known, but I feel like with him, it's more moments like that. Maybe he doesn't ring bells on a lot of fans' names. He's not the one that's exciting me the most about this deal. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. I like Ravech, but the guy who is exciting and is going to be exciting across the nation is David Cohn as the real color analyst for this trio that they're putting together.
Yeah.
David Cohn, I think, is going to be phenomenal. Sunday Night Baseball gets about 25 games a year, right? We've been complaining for years that it's like either their takes are too outlandish, right? When it came to like Mendoza and A-Rod, or, it seemed a little bit uneducated, or sometimes maybe too analytical, overly analytical. I don't know. But what you get with David Cohn, guys, we've been saying this forever as Yankee fans. This guy just knows the game, and
100%.
you can listen to him talk about baseball until the cows come home, bro. It's never gonna change. Like, this guy just knows what he's talking about. To hear him talk about pitching, to hear him talk about even hitting, and this guy was a pitcher, but the way that he talks about hitters, obviously, he has a lot of experience with hitters being a pitcher. Like, he just speaks in a way that, like, it makes you want to listen because you feel like you're learning. And I think that's what's important for the broadcast, right? You don't want some people that they're speaking and it feels like, well, I'm better than you because I know more about the game. You want it to sound like I'm speaking, I'm here because I'm here to, like, share what I know with you. And David Cohn has always sounded like a guy who wants to share that knowledge when he's speaking. Right. Yeah. So I think Coney's going to be a fit.
Coney is one of those guys that you can get a non-baseball person to watch a show, and they're going to understand a lot more about baseball after listening to David Cohn. He could be talking about the craziest, analytic-driven, whatever it may be thing, but Coney will put it into perspective that you really understand what he's saying, even if you're not a student of the game. That's what makes Coney so damn good at his job, is exactly that. It is just, he is so good at doing that because you want to get more from Coney. It's like sometimes I'm like, man, K, I love K and I love everybody else. Let Coney talk. Like, let me hear more of David Cohn. Like, just breaking down guys. But not even that. He's also hilarious. He's also interactive. He'll interact with you. Yeah. Just an overall absolutely terrific guy. He really is.
He's not a young guy. And so a lot of times with people David Cohn's age, they have a real tough time trying to seem relevant to the younger fans and seem interesting and entertaining. Coney's just a natural. No, there's something about him. There's something about him that even
he's relatable to anybody, any age.
As he's matured in age, he's just still relatable to the younger generation. Like, he's just still relatable, man, because there's a childlike thing when he speaks about the game. He just seems to have that understanding that it is just that, a game. Yeah. And that's what I think comes through when he's talking, and that I think that's amazing. So I'm super happy for Coney. I can't wait to see this. What I think will be interesting, and this will even shift us to the second part of this announcement, is the fact that Coney's going to stay on to call Yankee games this year also. So it'll be an interesting transition because, like, he'll be, doing Yankee games and then he'll do some Sunday Night Baseball games. And sometimes the Yankees will be on Sunday Night Baseball. So I can't wait to hear the criticism, because as good as Coney is, there's going to be people who are going to criticize him when the Yankees are on Sunday Night Baseball and try to call him Yankee boy or whatever. I promise you he's not. I feel like Coney's definitely going to call it down the middle, even if the Yankees are one of the teams playing in Sunday Night Baseball. But I'm sure some whack jobs are going to watch and say, like, oh, here he goes, like, sucking up to the Yankees or whatever. And you know what? If he does, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, because all we ever get on national telecast is hate all around the country. Yep. So it would be nice. It would be nice to have somebody who doesn't hate the freaking team for once.
That's right.
A-Rod, kind of provided that, but he was also a little overly critical at times. Yep. But moving on. The other part of this announcement was a really interesting part, because after announcing the departure of A-Rod from that booth, they announced that they were looking at A-Rod to have his own version of the Manning cast, but with the baseball broadcast. So for those who don't know, the Manning cast is something that the NFL kicked off this year, where simultaneously, while there's a game going on with their own broadcasters in the booth, you can watch that same game, but it's being broadcasted by Eli Manning and Peyton Manning, his older brother, right? Two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, I know there's argument with Eli, but two Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, two guys who come from a football family, know the game, and can analyze the game. And they bring guests on every week. They've had LeBron on, they've had Russell Wilson on, they've had Tom Brady, tons of guests or whatever. And like, it's almost like a podcast while the game is going on. It's an in-game podcast. Yeah. It's amazing. Their banter is amazing. The jokes are amazing. The shots that they throw at each other, and sometimes a player, if he looks funny out there, are amazing. It's way more fun and upbeat than a natural broadcast. Right. So obviously and naturally, it appeals more to the younger demographic. Yep. MLB, realizing they have a problem doing that same thing, feels like A-Rod might be the guy for that. What I said when A-Rod left the booth was A-Rod is a tremendously talented individual, not just speaking baseball-wise. His business acumen and also his ability to analyze the game of baseball. I don't think that the Sunday Night Baseball booth was the best fit for him, right? I just don't think that was the place for the way that he wants to speak about the game.
Right.
This thing, however, this could be the home run that they've been looking for with A-Rod all this time, because A-Rod does analyze the game much like a Peyton Manning analyzes football. Yeah. So this could be it. Now they're going to saddle him with Michael Kay, and I think the hope with that is that they have an experienced play-by-play guy who also has a pretty decent relationship with A-Rod to bounce back and forth with. This way that they, Peyton is pretty much like the head guy on the Manning cast, but they put his brother Eli with him, right? Eli kind of steals the show a lot of times, if you ask me, but because he's really funny. So they saddle A-Rod with Michael Kay, I guess, to kind of help with play-by-play stuff, but also like have that banter back and forth with somebody he's comfortable with. I think this could be it. I think this could work. I really think this could work. I'm looking forward to it. They're slated to have 12 games. So I think it also is going to run during Sunday Night Baseball. So it won't be every Sunday Night Baseball, but if they have 12 games and there's a slate of 25 games, it'll be half of the Sunday Night Baseball games that they have throughout the regular season. And they're also supposed to get a playoff series. If everything works out, if everything works out with this new CBA agreement and the owners get that extra round of playoffs that they're pushing for, A-Rod and K are supposed to get one of those series.
Nice.
So
that'd be interesting.
It's interesting stuff.
Now here's the big question that I gotta ask. Here's the big one. Will Michael K be wearing A-Rod's man makeup collection?
Oh God, no. Oh man, listen. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. Pete knows this already. We were talking off air, but I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I had to bring it up because I love you guys. I love A-Rod. A-Rod is here. He's here. So he's in my heart, man. This guy's a Dominican player.
Oh man,
proud fan. He has a proud fan right here.
Right.
I cannot get behind the man makeup for the life of me. For the life of me. Listen, man, the Presidente deal, there was nobody happier than me. Deal. Yeah. I was like, yes. I was like, find a way to get that shit into Yankee Stadium, please.
Yes. Please. In all seriousness, yes.
Okay, he went. The Minnesota Timberwolves deal. I was like, yes, go buy a basketball team. Get your mogul on. Do it. Oh, you tried to buy the Marlins, but you got undercut by Derek Jeter. Shit happens. He's the captain for a reason. But I'm with you. The man makeup. I'm not on the boat. I'm sorry. I'm not on the ship. This guy, he's wearing it everywhere, and I gotta tell you, it looks weird.
I feel like weird. In the picture that I got pulled up, I think he got some of it on.
I think he got some of
it on, Alex. Look at this. There's a little lip gloss there. There's a little lip gloss.
Alex, if by some stretch,
Alex Kardashian coming out. Okay.
if this gets to you and you see this, trust and believe. You are listening to two huge fans of yours.
Yeah, I love Alex. I love A-Rod.
We're huge Yankee fans, and we can't discount what you did for this team when we were here. We're not one of those.
Nah,
we support you. We're ride or die. But we cannot ride with the man makeup.
Nah, man. I can't do it. Hey, if A-Rod was like, bro, I'm going to send you some, you got to sponsor it, I have to generally look at you and say, Alex, I decline. I love you, Alex, bro. You the man. Send me a case of Presidente. I'll drink the whole thing right
that's
here.
That's what I'm saying. Give me any other spot. If Alex hit me up with the man makeup thing, I'd be like, dude, literally, give me any other thing. Give me any other thing.
Said, I gotta say this. Francis also said he already had his heart broken once by Sammy Sosa. He can't do it again.
Guys, that's what this is about. See, Pete just he let the cat out of the bag, guys. Ultimately, what this is about is my heart just can't take another Sammy Sosa situation. I can't do it. All right. Us Dominicans have been through enough. Okay. We were championing Sammy Sosa. Listen, after 9/11, he came out with the flag. He was running around.
Best moment ever.
We were like, in this moment, we are all citizens, even though 85% of us didn't have our citizenship. But we were all Americans in this moment. And it was amazing. It was amazing. And then he decided to become Mr. Neapolitan Ice Cream Man and change 3 different shades and his eye color and all this shit. And it's just like, I can't even look at this man the same. I can't look at him the same. I can't, Pete. I can't believe that.
Only thing I'm mad about is I did not prepare a picture of the new Sammy Sosa compared to the old Sammy Sosa. I can't. That is a miss on my end.
My heart is broken, guys.
Man.
My heart was broken with that. A-Rod, please, just.
You know what the Sammy Sosa thing? You want to know what happened with Sammy Sosa? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna have to tell you right now. People always say, like the Michael. No, had nothing to do with the Michael Jackson thing. Had nothing to do with that.
Come on, no.
Sammy Sosa watched Scarface.
Oh God.
And he said, "You know what? I want to be like that Sosa."
Oh man.
And the first step was the change of skin color.
You're right.
And that's what happened. Sammy, now you ever see him out there? He looking like a drug kingpin out there now.
He does. He looking
like a drug kingpin now. So
that's his style.
He might be legit Sosa from Scarface Sosa and not Sammy Sosa from the Cubs.
I'm not listening. I'm telling you guys, I look at him these days and I'm just like, I can't believe this is the same guy that I looked at on the Cubs. Like, you don't understand, man.
And now A-Rod is putting makeup on his face. What are we doing?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, I was a kid. I looked up to Sammy. I was like, oh, Sammy.
Hey, Alex.
Man, Sammy, this Sammy.
Alex.
Now Alex is doing makeup.
Let me tell you, A-Rod, Alex, we love you. You want to invest? Come on, baby. Bring it right here.
Yeah, come on. Listen. You don't need to put your money in man makeup.
No.
You need to put your money in NyynewsTV because we're taking off. We're killing shit.
Man
all right, we're kicking ass. We're taking names. We're all over the place.
Graziad.
This is where it needs to be. Listen, man, in all seriousness, I think the most interesting thing about this K-Rod broadcast.
I feel like D-Lo Brown right now. Remember D-Lo Brown comes out. Dun, 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 dun.
Stupid. Yeah. Nah, man. That dude had to have. He probably has serious neck problems. It's like you can't do that for that amount of years and just be normal now.
And then you also landing on your head while you're wrestling. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, there's just no way. He's. I mean, prayers up. There has to be something wrong there. Yeah, but what I was saying, I think the most interesting thing with the K-Rod booth, to put a button on that, is some people seem to be shocked by this, right? And I was like, but guys, like, haven't you been able to tell? Like, Michael K has been posturing and preparing himself for something like this for years.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
he's been very adamant on his radio show. He doesn't do it on broadcast. I think that's what it is. Maybe people don't listen to the radio show as much. But he's been very adamant on the radio show about how he feels like, you know, he should be calling playoff games and stuff like that because he really believes in his talent that way. And he's like, that's what I should be doing.
Right.
Also, I think his best friend, if I'm not mistaken, is Mike Breen, or at least one of his very good friends who, you know, is a commentator for the NBA and like, not just, I mean, I don't even think just the NBA, but like he does a bunch of different teams and things like that or whatever. He's a huge fan and also friend of Costas. So looking at people like that, looking at the people that K surrounds himself with and the crowd of people that K wants to be a part of, I think it was always the natural step that he would try to make a move to a national broadcast at some point because he doesn't just want to be known as like the local guy. And the awards, the bigger awards anyway, go to the national broadcast guys. Like those are so I think that's what it is. That's what he wants. And so listening to him call games the last couple of years, I think it's been obvious because I've been saying for a while, I feel like he panders more to the other fan bases than he does to the Yankees. It's just like you're watching a Yankee game and sometimes you're just like, damn, Mike, like, you know what I mean? Like
he's preparing. Shit. It's like you said, it's like enroll training. It's like enroll training, preparing for something like that. And
he's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So congrats to all those guys, man. I gotta be honest, man. There's a little bias for me when it comes to Coney because I think as Yankee, we've been asking for many things for Cohn, haven't we? We've been asking for a pitching coach job. Now you see the Sunday Night Baseball thing. We all love Cohn. I don't think there's a Yankee fan out there that's like, I don't like this guy in the booth. He's like my least favorite. I don't think anybody gets that from Coney. I love Coney. It's going to be interesting to see what the Yes Network. Oh, no, but he's still doing the Yes games, too. He's still going to do that, so that's not really changing too much.
Yeah, Michael K, too, is also still going to be doing Yes games.
I know a lot of people wanted to hear Ruocco do a little more. It is what it is. I don't really care.
Which he will. He's going to with K doing the K-Rod cast, I think Ruocco's going to get way more games.
Ruocco doesn't care, but he's still a little on my bad list. Little comments. But, I can't criticize this guy because he's a nice guy. Yeah, okay. All right, great, wonderful. Nice people can't be criticized. I forgot.
Well, let's think about this. It's funny you bring that up. Not to get all the way into this, but because I know you spoke about it and everybody spoke about it early on. But that's what people are afraid of. What happened to Ken Rosenthal this week? I think that's what people are really afraid of. I think that's why, Michael K, as much as he does let go on his radio show, he goes up to a certain line
and then he stops
that he doesn't pass.
Yeah.
I think that's why Ruocco, as candid as he wants to be with him and CeCe, he realizes that he himself can only go up to a certain line because of the fact that remains retaliation is real. And people say, oh, that's not true. Like, no, you can't do that in today's game.
That is true.
Guys, what happened to Ken Rosenthal is clear.
Yeah.
You can't argue. Like, I don't know who's trying to argue that. But if you're still trying to argue that, dude, you're in a bad spot. Ken Rosenthal got fired legitimately because of that.
Well, I could tell you this right now, and that's why, there are some people that are better off in the position that we are in because we can talk about whatever we want, and we don't have to be worried about me coming along or Felix coming along or you coming along or Chef or anybody else that is on this network saying, I don't think I want to be a part with these guys anymore because he insulted Boone. I don't like it. And, I'm going to leave or I think they should leave or something like that. No, thankfully, not luckily because we've actually worked hard to put this together, but we do have this platform that I think people are going to be very attracted to because they know it's going to be real talk for the real fan all the time. And last thing we want to finish off with is our tweet of the week. And yes, we're going to be biased. It is coming from good friend Gary Sheffield Jr.
Yes,
Why?
Sir.
Because Chef Talk episode 1 aired on Friday, and guys, it was absolutely friggin' awesome. Absolutely awesome, along with all of our shows. But again, like I said, we're going to be biased. So again, right up there here on the side of the screen, you can have the link right there. Click on that. You can go watch the Chef Talk show again if you missed it. But Gary Sheffield Jr., you are the winner of the tweet of the week. So, Francis, great show today. We had a lot with people saying there's no baseball. NYY News TV is still giving you amazing content. Everything that we learned from Eli Fishman today you're not getting that anywhere else. You're not getting that anywhere else. So, I guarantee you, in that interview, you as a fan watching learned something from Eli Fishman. And I also just want you to understand that is because of NYY News TV. If you have not shared us out, if you have not followed at NYY News TV on Twitter, you are letting yourself down. NYY News Pete on IG, that is everything NYY News TV. That is not me. The name will work with that likely here soon. But Francis, I have nothing else to say on this episode besides I learned a lot. I had fun, tons of laughs, like always. We always have a great time. An amazing first week. We're kicking off week 2. That's all I got, man.
Same, man. Y'all already know. I'm going to keep it real. Keep it locked. Stay tuned. We had an amazing first week. But like I always say, the next episode is the best episode. So forget the first week. It's second week time, baby. We kicking shit off. Let's go.
On facts. And we will never come whack on a designated Spittaz track. Talk to you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed. Well, I know you enjoyed. But share this, subscribe, like, let your friends and family know that you gotta watch NYY News TV because ain't nobody running the lineup like we are. As Felix said, pound for pound, the best around. I love that. Talk to you guys next time. Designated Spittaz out. See you guys next time.
Before it hits the front